Okay, we are going to do a head-to-head analysis of Copa, American Airlines, United, Delta, and Latam. Business or first class in all of them, up and down basically the Western world. So let's real quick show you the route that I've been taking. So I started in Ecuador, Copa to Panama up to Miami. This was in business class. I'm going to show you the seats in that because they're new. Then from Miami on up to Chicago, spent a little time in the Illinois area, then over to Denver for meetings, back over to New York, JFK, so I could pick up and check out the new Delta One Lounge, separate video on that. And then Latam business down to Lima, Peru, and then back up to Ecuador and Latam. So there's many videos out there focusing on different airline comparisons. So uh, the focus for my video, this, and what made it unique is because I had done all the business classes, I was able to focus on a particular area of interest. Seats? No. Plenty of people have done seats. Wi-Fi speeds? Oh, we'll talk about it, but that's not the focus. Flight attendants? Spoiler alert, they're all really good. So no, not gonna focus on that. Let's focus on the whiskeys of each airline. That's the most important part, I think. Okay, let's break these down by the order I flew them. So Copa out of Manta up into Miami. We'll talk about a couple other things, and I got to show you these new seats because they're awesome. I just started seeing them on Copa. They might have been there for a few months now, but they're new to me. So Copa on a basic 737-800, 900 maybe for the second leg. I don't remember. There's no Wi-Fi on these flights. Uh, the product is pretty new. The business class, very nice seats, and I'll show you a picture of them real fast. But yeah, first of all, the online menus, trying to find the complete menu is difficult for Copa in Latam. But I can tell you firsthand exploration that for Scotch, they basically have Johnny Walker Black. Would not be my first choice for a Scotch. It's a solid one if you're in a pinch, and I had it. It flowed freely on the flight, and I appreciated it. Before I get any farther, I do have to show these new Copa seats. They are comfortable, new, and I just like them. After Copa, I was back in the US. I do enjoy living abroad, but when you're talking about whiskeys, the US is always nice to get back to. The next flight out of Miami was on American Airlines. Okay, now we're stepping up the game a little bit. I want a 737-800 is flying in business class up. The seats are fine. The seats are basic business class seats. They do have Wi-Fi. It does cost money. Don't know why anymore. But we're stepping up the drink menu definitely here. So the Scotch offering is poor. You know, I don't even know if we can label Dewar's White Label as particularly even even a serious offering in the Scotch arena. However, if you're in a gin, Aviator gin, solid gin. They've got some Baileys if you want dessert, and I do enjoy that along with Darcy Amarado. Those are great dessert things. The Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. That is a solid bourbon. I'm not a bourbon guy, but if I'm going to have bourbon, I'm going to go for this Woodford Reserve. That's a solid bourbon. Let's not talk about Jack Daniels. Okay. But yeah, a solid whiskey choice. Then out of Chicago, I flew United over to Denver. Um, this is where we really stepped up the menu. First of all, 737, Wi-Fi, yeah, all good. Comfortable seats, yeah, of course. It's first class on United. United has a Glenfarclas single malt age Scotch. This is, in my opinion, the best whiskey flying out on the airlines today. Nothing against the Buffalo Trace. Like I said, I'm not a bourbon guy, but it's a solid bourbon offering as well. Jack Daniels again, let's not go there. Solid gin offering, and I'm not going to speak to tequila. Not my area of expertise, but the Glenfarclas single malt, excellent, excellent offering. I don't know why more airlines don't step up their game on the single malt scotches. I'm not a big United fan. I don't fly them a lot, but man, I'll fly them for this. Delta, Delta over to New York. Again, at 737-800 Wi-Fi. Got to give Delta always an out on the Wi-Fi. Of course, they have a comfortable seat. We're in business class or first class preferred, whatever they're calling the front of the cabin on these domestic flights anymore. They used to dominate as far as I was concerned in the whiskey world. They had a Whistle Pig Rye. I haven't seen that in a while. They used to have an excellent old-fashioned mix too, which I think was Whistle Pig based. These, in my mind, put it at the top of the airlines for whiskey, but those have fallen off. And again, Buffalo Trace, the bourbon cream, it's a fine dessert drink. The Woodford Reserve, a solid whiskey as far as bourbon goes. Again, not a bourbon guy. Gin, a solid gin offering. But for Scotch, again, this is just sad. A Dewar's blended Scotch label. This is, it's not even really a Scotch. Well, even Copa had better Scotch. That's just embarrassing for Delta. I don't know why they got rid of the rye, and I don't know why they got rid of the old-fashioned mix. Maybe because too many of us were getting schnockered on the flight, because I know I did on a few of them. But yeah, they've fallen behind. I'm sorry, Delta. I love Delta, but their whiskey selection has fallen behind, and they've been taken over by United. Okay, as far as the airline offerings on board, we talked about that, but let's talk about the lounges. I don't have any good slides on the lounges. So, um, Copa Lounge, the Latam lounges that I've been at, they're okay. They're nice places to hang out, but their whiskey selection is nothing to speak of. It's no better than they're on board. They've got the Johnny Walker range of stuff, and this is a South America thing. They're not really great on the scotches, and you can usually find some bourbon. Let's talk about the U.S. lounges real fast because I hit an American lounge, I hit a United lounge, and a Delta lounge. And I got to tell you, the United and the Delta lounges, now in all fairness, I was in the Delta One lounge, which is, the premier lounge for Delta One, for Delta, their new Delta One lounge in AFK. But United had a solid lineup of decent whiskeys, including a damn fine rye. And Delta's lounge blew it out of the top. They had a 21-year-old Balvenie Portwood. That was not a free scotch, by the way, on that one, but it's a solid scotch. And they had a good underpinning lineup of whiskeys, both bourbons and scotch in that mix, as well as rye, in both the United and the Delta lounges. I was thoroughly impressed with those. American, I'm sorry, guys, not a great whiskey offering in the lounges I was in, and Copa and Latam, no. But United and Delta, solid whiskey with bourbon, rye, and really decent scotches. Got to give them a wave on those. So I'm not sure if the scotch rundown of all the airlines is interesting to too many people. But to me, I certainly had fun doing it. So here's some outtakes from the trip. Okay, for these videos, I want to let you know I do my research. I'm checking out every possible variation of whiskey, scotch, and rye that I can come up with, including this fine rye. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, maybe a little niche on the different types of whiskeys, but it was fun making, and I hope you had fun watching. Bye.